Hey there, YouTube friends, Mass Bandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I always do appreciate it. Episode 3 of Summerdale Amusement Park. That's this little thing here. And we are working today mostly on the chairlift here near the entrance and getting it incorporated and adding some stalls into said chairlift. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Our time lapse today is a little bit shorter than normal, only about 9 minutes or so. So what we're going to do is after this time lapse portion, we are going to jump in real time and I will show you where the park is currently at, because there's been a fair amount of work off camera. I kind of forgot to hit record once or twice, or what I'll end up doing is I'll wait to make sure I'm on the right track before I start hitting record, and sometimes I get a little carried away. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to do after this time lapse. We'll jump into some real time. First things first, we are working on a little food option, I suppose. We'll call it a food option. It is a little unusual to have a food option like this close to the entrance, I guess. Maybe? I don't know. No, I don't think. Never mind. Maybe not. Anyway, what I really wanted to do is I really wanted to incorporate some vendors into our chairlift design, but I didn't want to put them directly under like they do at Cedar Point, because that would have meant having to lift that chairlift super high, like stupid high off the ground. So I didn't do that. Instead, I kind of made this little rounded portion here feel like it's an extension of the chairlift building itself. So that's kind of what we're going for with it. So I want to say big shout out to Kinderly. In the last episode, he linked me to a thememaker's toolkit item. That's this corrugated roofing. It comes in 2 and 4 square meter pieces. I went ahead and downloaded that. I haven't used it yet. I've been working on Azuri Gardens pretty much exclusively the last few days. Basically, since I got the park back from Jaunty, I've been working exclusively in Azuri, so I haven't had a chance really to do much with this the last few days. But I am going to be using that roof set, hopefully to save on both time and pieces, because these corrugated roofing, the custom that I do, while I have the technique down and doesn't take that terribly long, it is still a lot of pieces, and it's just a tedious process, so it takes a little bit of time. So that's kind of, that's going to be exciting to see. I hope it works. I'm finding more and more interesting thememaker's toolkit items on the workshop. And actually, I want to give a shout out right now to one of our Bronation people. And that would be, I'm pretty sure it's Idro. Idro has released a bunch of things. He releases a postcard stands that I've downloaded and I can't wait to use, and he's created pin stands, which I think are super cool. So I am super excited to get to use those here in the future. I cannot wait for that. So that's coming very, very soon, and I'll be sure to show those off. And I'll also make sure to add them to the collection. It seems that your feedback from the last episode, you want me to go ahead and dress up the streets a little bit before I release the map. So with that, if that's the case, then you're just going to need to be a little bit patient with me while I get that taken care of. I will do that at some point in the future. I don't know when exactly, but I will get that to you lovely people, and I will make sure that everything is set up and ready for you just to build in this space to your heart's desire. So that's what we're going to be doing. So one thing that's kind of interesting is this is kind of a direct, not rip, but direct reference to what I did for Surfside Pleasure Pier, and in that park I had a whole bunch of vendors underneath the turnaround of the main coaster Comet, and it kind of resembled this style, but I think this looks a lot better. I also think this looks a lot more like just generic kind of old Cedar Ferry, which is perfect. It's what I'm going for. This older, like not rundown, but just not, I mean, it looks nice. It's not flashy. We're gonna have this style that's just generic, and then we're gonna have like this super modern generic, I think is kind of how I want to approach it. Like I said, the Impulse coaster will be very more of the modern generic style. So someone actually commented on my most recent, on the last episode, saying I should add a Johnny Rockets to the park. Well, just you wait for the real-time portion. I have a friend on Bronation, Uwakins, who you might be familiar with his Boardwalk font. He has a box font set, both lit and, or a box light font set, both lit and unlit. I used it in Surfside. He's super awesome, and he's a architectural wizard at Planet Coaster. He made me a custom blueprint quite a while ago as like a little gift, and he wanted me to use it in a project, and I haven't had an opportunity until now. So I went ahead and threw that into this park, and I'll show it to you in the real-time portion. It's super neat. It is not in the collection though, since it was made as a gift specifically for me. I think I'm going to keep it that way. When the park, I mean, you can, well, I guess the park's going to come up for download anyway, so, but for now, you'll just have to wait, I guess. On this side here, what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a slight, like, little gift shop thing. Maybe you get your sunscreen and your essentials, like your sunscreen and your first aid stuff, like if you forgot to bring your Advil. Like when I was at Cedar Point, I forgot to take some Advil, and I got myself a headache, so I had to go buy some, medicine for my poor little head. I do think we're going to do a subtle interior to this. I left space in there, and I made sure that nothing was poking through too terrible. So I think we'll do a very basic interior for that. I don't know if we'll actually have a vendor in there, but there are a couple sets of workshop items that are really good. I used them for Surfside as well, the Tacky Shack. Interior is all workshop items, so I will go ahead, and if I use those, I'll let you know, and you'll see in a future episode. But I did, like I said, here you can see it's starting to feel a little bit more like a facade that's connected to the chairlift, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that it didn't feel like a bunch of separate buildings. Hopefully you agree that it looks like one more solid structure, and obviously it'll help once we have the actual chairlift station being worked on. You can see in this part of the time lapse I've already built some of the station. I did, like I said, do a bunch of this off camera, but you'll see a little bit of work doing here. I think this is another one of those older structures, the chairlift station, which is why we're using these older sets. We're using the spooky the spooky wood planks. They kind of give a really good age deteriorated look. So why we're also using some more of the muted colors, like things have kind of faded and not disrepair, but things are just faded. I would assume you wouldn't paint those parts necessarily all that much. So yeah. Also want to talk a little bit about some feedback I got as far as people were asking what kind of rides I was going to incorporate, what kind of coasters there's going to be. I'm not exactly sure yet what kind of coasters I'm going to have. I know I want a few more. Someone started throwing out like 7 or 8 coasters. I mean, I'm not sure I can fit that many comfortably in here. There's a series right now that I'm watching by, I think it's Jake C. And he's doing a very small park, and he has things just layered on top of each other and coasters diving all over the place, and it looks super duper cool. But I don't know if that's something that I want to do or something that I'm necessarily planning on doing, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't quite know where I'm going yet. I know I have at least 2 full circuit coasters left in me, and so that would bring the total right now up to 5 coasters, which is a lot. And what are those 2 going to be? I don't know. Someone suggested something like, I think is it Windsurfer? Is that like a Eurofighter type coaster? That'd be pretty cool. Someone suggested an invert. That'd be pretty cool. Some sort of B&M. I'd like to get some sort of B&M in here, some sort of compact design. I wonder if a Batman clone would fit. That's a pretty narrow coaster layout. So maybe that'll fit. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's jump into real time and take a look at what's going on at the park in its current state. Sit right there. So here we are in our real-time portion, and you can see I've used some thememaker's toolkit letters to write the name of the park on the front of the entrance. I think that's a nice little thing. I like the way that looks. I think that's the Planet Coaster font, the Eagle Book font, which is totally cool. But you'll also see, we got Purple People Eater there. You'll also see the Larson Looper peeking over the edge. You can see our chairlift now. You can see the towers in the back going, and you can even see another coaster. Ooh. So let's go ahead and let's take a stroll in. So in here, boop. We immediately, after the bricks here, we get some tarmac. We go right to tarmac, and it's all going to be just this asphalt tarmac look thing. Here's what we've been working on. I still think I need some details in here, but this condiment cart, lovely. It's from the workshop. It's in the collection currently. Threw down some benches and umbrellas just to kind of give some clutter. Threw down some signs, all kinds of good stuff. So This park map cart is another workshop item I just think is super cool. And I kind of like how it's just right in the middle here. I like that. Like, I want this to feel kind of cluttered, kind of low budget. So coming this way here, all this was in the last episode. And then you watched me build this. But you, ooh, look at this. This is a pretty good view right here. Look at that. Oh, hey, I like that. That's a pretty good view. Ha, I'll take it. Anywho, if we turn around here, we'll see I added a stroller rental. I got to set up, what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to plop an animatronic down and give him like a little booth where you would buy it, or maybe a little ticket vendor or something. Anyway, we have our stroller rental here. These are from the workshop. These are Rudy Renkamel's strollers. They are workshop or thememaker's toolkit items. They are also currently in the collection. And then we have our little locker building. You'll notice I don't have any signs here yet. I will get to making the signs. We've got a restroom sign, but other than that, we don't have any signs in the area, so I'll have to go ahead and do that for everyone. But anyway, lockers, lovely locker building. I think it's simple yet kind of weird looking, which I kind of dig. And again, thememaker's toolkit lockers. Look at these. Look at those. The details on those are very nice. Really enjoy those. And I stuck an ATM here to use as the thing that you would, you'd use to buy your locker. So hopefully people will actually come in here and use it. It is hooked up to the path. I'm using a new terrain path that came with the Ghostbusters pack. It's a new tarmac that blends almost seamlessly with the in-game asphalt texture. So that's really cool. It actually means I didn't need to use Emax Magnus's covers, but nonetheless, it's still an awesome set. But in this biome, I don't need them. So you'll notice my paths are really not connected. I'm still working them out. And now, especially because I can just terrain paint them down, I can be a little bit, I guess, sloppier. That's an awful word to say, but could probably be a little sloppier. Tree, don't know what's that there for. None of the rides are in their final homes. Currently, I'm just throwing rides down that I know I want to use, and I'll rearrange them. Probably for the next episode, we'll get to work on the impulse coaster here. We'll add a nice station, but here, check out this. Look at this. This is the Johnny Rockets that was given to me, like I said, by Uakins. He built this for me a while ago, and I just hadn't had a place for it yet. I wanted to make sure it was prominent, but it's just gorgeous. He gave it an interior. Let's take a look in here. Let's just take a stroll. Look, you got your server there and your seating areas, the kitchen. You can see, and it actually functions. It's so fantastic. Love using the people there sitting down and eating. Look at the board, the billboards, the Coke billboards. It's perfect. It's so good. And there is a second story up there that we'll look at in a minute. But I like how close it is to the Impulse. I like that. It might be too close. I don't know. It might be a little too close. I might actually scoot the Impulse over just a teensy-weensy bit if I can, rather than pull the Johnny Rockets out at all. So, and then I think we're gonna go with a whip here, and that needs work, and bumper cars. I think that's gonna fill up this side, and then we'll have plenty of room for a coaster over there somewhere. And you can see I get a good view here of the Purple People Eater flanking this side of the park. Oh, look at that, the way it's through the, I like that. That might be a thumb. I'll figure that out later. But you can see this is gonna be our main midway here. And, noticing the elephant in the room here, this coaster, this boomerang coaster. This is the one I mentioned. It's by Fisherman and the other person whose name I can't pronounce. And he laughed at me in the comments. But it's a beautiful, beautiful coaster. And I mean, it's your standard boomerang coaster, so I don't really feel like... To me, these kind of coasters should almost function as like a flat ride anyway, because they are so similar, all of them. And if someone can do it better than I can, then by all means, I'm going to have them do it. And that's kind of like, I kind of equate this, we were talking about this on Bro Nation. At what point should you feel kind of guilty if you're using someone else's stuff? Well, what's different about me downloading something off the workshop that's meant to be used like this versus giving it to someone to work on my behalf, like we do park swapping on Bronation. I think the idea is one and the same. So, but look at this gorgeous station. Now I am going to come in and I'm going to get rid of the nautical details. The name of this coaster is Stingray. I don't think we're going to keep the name Stingray for this one. I think we're going to change that up. So I may have just messed myself up. We may have to exit. Yeah, we're going to have to exit Tegid Cam here. So let's get out of Tegid Cam. Doot. You can see him back near the entrance. Now I give you an overview of what's going on. Whoop. So you can see this part of the park here feels a lot more complete, doesn't it? And this is kind of the vibe I'm going to be going for the entire park. So picture this throughout the whole layout. I don't want it to be too claustrophobic, too cramped, but I do want to have things close together. I do plan for some of the next new coasters I'm going to be building to be going over paths and stuff, because we don't really have that yet. You'll notice the gray stripes here. I'm starting to think about where backstage areas might go, like we might have a service gate right here, and like a parking area over here or something, or at least an unload zone with like some things over here, or maybe we can do that over here. The question is, how do we get over here without going underneath the coaster? I guess we'd have to come in, but then see, the problem here is there's no really good way to get over there. So I don't know what we're going to do, but I do want to plan for some backstage areas. But you can see I've done a lot more planning compared to the last episode. The last episode, it was still pretty raw. Hopefully now you can see, oh, I kind of see where he's going. Like I said, none of my paths connect yet. They will, though. As I build out, they will connect. So you can see this is the land we have to work with. It looks like a lot, but it's not. Like this boomerang coaster is not very big, but it takes up quite a bit of room. Same with this wooden coaster. It's not the biggest coaster on the planet, but it takes up quite a bit of the room in the park. And that's kind of what I wanted. So anyway, I think that's just about going to do it. Let me get to an interesting angle here for us. Let me zoom on in here. There we go. We'll come in here. There we go. We'll do this. Oh yeah, I like this view. Oh yeah. That's pretty cool. Alrighty guys. So I'm going to leave you with this little view here of the Impulse and our new little shop and the sun right in your eyes. And that's going to do it for us today. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you've got any feedback, as always, let me know in the comments below. And with all that being said, have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever. And I will see all of you for the next episode of Summerdale Amusement Park. Can't talk. Take care, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.